Hey everybody, what's up? It's Hold the Truth Hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. Full-time ghosting isn't an opinion. It isn't an option. Full-time ghosting is the only choice. Full-time ghost. Now, this video has been overdue, man. It's been overdue. And this video is entitled, the title might actually be different, but the video is, happy wife, happy life. What is a happy wife and a happy life? That's a better title. What is a happy wife and a happy what does a happy wife and a happy life look like? What would it look like? Because I've done a lot of content, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people say, you know what, Hold the Truth Hostage, man. You do a lot of anti-marriage content. You know what I'm saying? You do all this anti-content, and you don't present an image of what does it look like, What does a successful marriage look like? Under all these modern rules, under all these laws, what does a successful marriage look like? And Hold the Truth Hostage, why won't you say it? You know what I'm saying? Are you afraid? Are you scared? What does a successful marriage look like? With all these laws and all that stuff, what does it look like? What is the standard? What would a man be in this situation? A successful marriage. You know what I'm saying? What does it look like? Well, I know I've avoided it. You know what I mean? I've avoided it. I haven't talked about it in a while or ever in this detail, but I'm gonna tell you what a successful marriage looks like, with all the legal ramifications, all the laws, all the issues. What does a successful marriage look like? And by the time this video's done, you will see that this is damn near impossible. You know what I'm saying? Notice what I said, damn near. That doesn't mean it's impossible, but to have all these steps, you know what I mean? It's gonna be something else for you to try to have all this. So what does a successful marriage look like? What would it look like? Well, from what I know of all the laws and legal ramifications and all that's at risk, you know what I'm saying? All that's at risk. What does it look like? Well, here it is. Now, a successful marriage, and also what I'm gonna give you is also what would dictate a man having to divorce as well. You know what I'm saying? What would dictate a man having to divorce as well? You know what I mean? I'm gonna drop all this knowledge, you know what I mean? So what does it look like? Well, here it is. Now, before I start, a man getting married would have to admit that he is accepting all of the risk that come with it, all of the risk, all of the legal ramifications that come with it, that this man will accept it and be accountable for his decisions. That's what it is. That's what it has to be. So what does a successful marriage look like between a man and a woman? Okay, let's go. Well, the man would come home. Let's say this, the man comes home, comes home to his wife, and maybe, because, I'm not trying to paint this whole 1950s BS. Maybe, she's working, their schedules don't align, whatever. And the man comes home, the wife comes home, and food is either prepared or, food is either pre-prepared you know what I'm saying, by the wife, or some type of agreement between the wife and the husband on the food preparations and what will be available to eat. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of guys want to do this narrative that, oh man, the wife has to cook everything. No, she doesn't, man. You could easily do this where the man will order the salad, buy the salads, and, you know, stuff that who cares who cooks it. You know what I'm saying? There's some food where it's who cares who cooks it. You know, the man could end up buying the salad and the vegetables and all that other BS. You know what I mean? And the wife could cook the other food. You know what I'm saying? So let's say she cooks the other food and they share that food, whatever, and they eat. You know? But the thing that would happen in such a relationship is that between the man and the woman, what would exist is the understanding of the major difference, the acceptance of that difference, that this is husband, this is wife. And the thing is, the women would understand that when men get married, it is truly men want to honor that till death do us part. Men want to honor that till death do us part. You know what I'm saying? This is why a divorce is such a devastation to a man, and most people don't want to talk about that. Oh, it was because of the money and this and that. No, the man actually wants to honor that till death do us part. Till death do us part. Because the man's putting his whole life into this woman. The man, once he gets married to a woman, he's basically telling her, I will die for you. You know what I'm saying? I will live and I will die for you till death do us part. And a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, the scammers, the red pillars and all these BS pieces of garbage, the lesser pillar community, you know what I mean, the dark gray pillars, you know, men that aren't full-time ghosting, men that don't know the black pill 4.0, you know what I'm saying? Men that don't know it will say, well, she should be ready to die for her man, and you know what I'm saying? He should be ready to die for her man and all that narrative. No, men get married until death do us part is the man is assuming that he will die first. You know what I'm saying? He will die first and she will continue on till death do us part. That's what that means. That's the true meaning of this vow. Till death do us part. The man is looking at it as, we will no longer be together when I die. That's the vow the man is making. This is why divorce has such a crippling side effect on the man's psyche. You know what I'm saying? Because the man pledged to live and to die for this woman. You know what I'm saying? This is why it's so hard for a man to get married again, you know, because he makes such a major commitment that he's ready to die for this woman. You know what I'm saying? And a man who's psychologically fit will not just be pointing to random women and just saying, I would die for you, I would die for you, I would die for you, I would die for you. Like I was saying, a man doesn't throw this out, you know what I mean, as though it's some type of joke that he would die for a woman. That's why, man, it's extremely hard to move on and extremely painful for a man, divorce. Because that man swore that he is willing to live and die for that woman. That once he marries her, he literally, psychologically, now is planning everything, every aspect of his life around living and dying for this woman. You know what I'm saying? Their family, every aspect of his life is built around this. Living and dying for this woman. You know what I'm saying? Living and dying for her. His whole life is built on this narrative. You know what I mean? And when a man gets divorced, you know what I'm saying? How you know how hard it is to find another woman. Not only to find another woman, but to commit to such a vow again. To commit to such a vow again that he would put his life on the line and die. And it, you know what I mean? Die for a woman again. You know what I'm saying? He'd put his life till death again. You know what I'm saying? You know how hard that is for a man to openly say that again? You know? But the thing is, all right, let's get back. So what is a successful marriage look like? Well, like I said, the woman would understand that's a man. And the man would understand that's his woman. And the clear thing is, she would understand that there is no room for disrespect. There is room for disagreements. You know what I'm saying? There's room for disagreements. She could say, you know what, I just disagree, you know, with this and that. She can disagree. Now, disrespect, there's no room for that. The reason there's no room for that is the amount of risk this man has committed in just marrying her. The amount of risk he's put his life on the line and the danger associated with it legally, becoming a second-class citizen, volunteering to become a second-class citizen, placing his entire life, his entire well-being, his name, you know what I'm saying, his character on the line for this marriage. You know what I'm saying? That's what a man puts on the line. So there ain't no room for disrespect. You know what I mean? Disagreements, yeah, they can disagree, but there's no room for disrespect. There's no room for loud arguments, none of that. Because at the end of the day, these loud arguments are all building a case towards domestic dispute. You know what I'm saying? All these potential legal ramifications that basically suggest that the woman is ready to sacrifice the man. You know what I'm saying? She's ready to sacrifice the man. And you know what I mean? That's what this is. So there's no room for that. And that would justify a man. As I said, I made a video a while ago. You know, this is how far ahead. I made a video over 5 years ago where I told men the way things are. And the way things are is that you have to live by the one strike rule. You must understand that a relationship with a woman is all about de-escalation and escalating. And final de-escalation. As in, you must always look for the signs where something can escalate. You know what I'm saying? You can watch that video. And what I mean by that is, well, if your woman is willing to yell at you in the house, then she's willing to yell at you outside. You know what I'm saying? Willing to yell at you outside and draw the attention that comes with that. Yelling at you outside. You know what I'm saying? So you got to de-escalate that. So there's no room for disrespect, loud yelling and making noise and getting all big and angry at the man. There's no room for that. You know what I'm saying? And it's in a successful relationship between a man and a woman. There's no room for that. You know what I'm saying? And that would justify the man leaving. You know what I mean? That would justify the man leaving. You know what I'm saying? If the woman just starts yelling at you in your house, being disrespectful, you could leave right then and there. It don't matter how long y'all been together, you can leave and you should leave. You know what I'm saying? That would justify a man leaving. You know? As if there's yelling and that level of disagreement and anger that would suggest a domestic dispute. Oh, look at these goose. Look at the geese, man. Look at the geese. Look at them. Man, in front of nature. You know what I'm saying? I'm just standing tall, standing still, in front of the geese. You know, not moving, being close to nature. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, that would justify the end of the relationship. Any sign of potential domestic dispute, you know, it would justify it, because the risk of someone reporting, well, they're having a domestic dispute, and the risk of that escalating outside of the household, like I said, you know what I mean, it would justify leaving, because a lot of men don't want to admit the situation they're in because of the legal ramifications that are at play and the risk. You must assume, like I've told people on a previous video, a man is guilty, just not proven yet. That's it. There ain't no such thing as guilty until proven innocent. Nope, the man is guilty, just hasn't been proven guilty. That's it. That means you're guilty. There ain't no, this system wasn't designed to find anything such as you know what I'm saying, justice and all that stuff. No. Once you get into a relationship, you, man, have volunteered. You know what I mean? Like I said, once you get into, you know, the long-term relationship, you've basically, as a man, have volunteered to be a second-class citizen and have placed the woman in the higher class position. So any sign you see of disrespect that could escalate towards a domestic violence dispute, because a lot of men think, oh, domestic violence is when y'all touch each other and fight. No, anything could be seen as a domestic violence. And some people will argue, well, if you're a man, you're gonna talk and you're gonna reach an agreement, y'all gonna have a conversation. No. If you see any sign that the woman you're with is willing to escalate the disrespect towards yelling and disrespecting you, when you, by getting married to her, volunteered to live and die for her. You know what I'm saying? You see any sign of disrespect to where it's escalating towards a potential domestic dispute, you must tell her that it's over and you're willing to leave. You know what I'm saying? You gotta tell her that it's over, and you might not even want to tell her. You just want to step out the house because you want to draw your distance away from a potential aggressive aspect between you two, and you end it right then and there. You know what I mean? Like I said, volunteers can't be victims. You volunteered for this relationship, and you know what's at risk, and you know what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Volunteers can't be victims. You know what I mean? Let me say it again. Volunteers can't be victims. You volunteered to the marriage, and whatever happens with it happens on your choice. So let's get back to the good qualities. You know what I'm saying? Now, a woman that's with a man in the household will understand that this man comes above everything, comes above every level of authority in her life, because above everything, the police, the politicians, that man will be the first option. That man will be the first person to run to her aid, protect her, and tell her the truth. You know what I'm saying? Be as honest as possible to her. You know what I'm saying? You have some women biting this narrative that, and this is why a lot of marriages will fail and will not succeed at a rate of over 90%. If any woman values the society outside of her man, you know what I'm saying? Outside of her man, that marriage has already failed. If she's telling you, well, you know, Oprah said this, you know what I'm saying? This personality online said this for us to have a successful relationship and all this. If it isn't doctor orientated, I'm not talking about a therapist. I'm not talking about all that BS. I'm not talking about a psychologist. I'm talking about a doctor. As in, if it's about health, you know what I'm saying? If it's about 100% can be proven factual, only then does it matter. The reason over 90, let me go higher, over 99% of marriages fail as soon as they start and before they start is the woman values strangers, values the opinions of the society of strangers. You know what I'm saying? Oprah, Ellen DeGeneres, all these people that you watch online, these Twitter, these e-celebrities and all that, they are strangers. It doesn't matter if you listen to advice that they give you, they are strangers. You know what I'm saying? Not only are they strangers, they will not be there for you. You know what I'm saying? They will not be there for you. They are strangers. You know what I'm saying? And as soon as a woman values strangers' advice as though they can be trusted, the marriage is already failed. It's already failed. It's failed already. Because these strangers, will Ellen DeGeneres be there for her when she's sick? Will Ellen DeGeneres, will Oprah, will all these influencers and content creators be there when she is sick, not feeling well? Help her pay the rent, help her pay the bills. Will they be there to help her, lead her without charging her? You know what I'm saying? Will they be by her bedside to talk to her, to communicate with her? No. These people are strangers and have no value when it comes to the physical aspect of your life. Will Mr. Beast be there for you? No. They ain't gonna be there. They're strangers in their entertainment. Once a woman values the notions of strangers, and a lot of people think, well, what do you mean? Go further, elaborate further into this. What do you mean by strangers? Anyone outside of that marriage is a stranger. That means her own family. You know what I'm saying? That means her own family is a potential stranger because they are not a part of that marriage. So they are strangers. They exist outside of the marriage. When a woman marries a man, she gets with that man to create a new family for him and with him. You know what I'm saying? Anyone outside of that marriage is a stranger. That means grandma, dad, all of them, strangers. That man, when they get married, it's a vow that we are all that one another need, and we are all one another will ever have, till death do us part. You know what I mean? That basically means anyone outside of that marriage is a stranger. You know what I'm saying? Is a stranger. And the only value they bring is outside of that marriage. The existence of what lies outside of that marriage. And what is that? Divorce. Divorce. That's the only time they have value, when it comes to their thoughts and their notions on the marriage. It's divorce. Because when the woman got married to this man, she didn't get married to her family. She didn't get married to his family. She got married to him. So any notions or thoughts that are outside of that marriage are strictly for that, outside of that marriage. And anything placed of higher value between her husband, anything placed above her husband, is basically a path towards divorce. It's a path towards divorce, because not only has this man placed himself in a very dire situation legally and is now a second-class citizen, and at any whims to her feelings, the marriage could end, they could be in divorce, and his whole life, his pension, everything could be ended. He could even end up in jail. You know what I'm saying? And even if you remove that, let's say you go to another country, that man is priority. The very reason a woman marries a man is to start his family and a new family. New family. The new focus of her life is that new family they will create. Anything outside of that is what lies outside of that marriage, which is divorce. You know what I'm saying? Which is divorce. That's the only thing that could be outside of that marriage as priority in that woman's life is divorce. You know, anything outside of that is divorce. You know what I'm saying? Any narrative, any conversation outside of that marriage between the man and the woman is divorce. That's how it is. It's divorce. Anything outside of that marriage is to value what lies outside of that marriage is divorce. That's it. You know what I'm saying? That's it, man. Anything outside of that marriage is divorce. You know what I mean? But let's get back. And what does it mean for the woman to value the man she's with? That means that she will understand that he is the only person in her life that is not a stranger. As I stated, not the only person in her life that isn't a stranger. And she lives for that man because she understands in marrying her, that man has proven that he lives for her. You know what I'm saying? That his intentions are the best for their new family. The family that will be born out of their unity. And that woman will place the being valuable and being the value and the joy of that man's life, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. And I touched up on this with my video, Man Above God. You know, it could have been titled Man Before God, but you know, it doesn't have that ring to it. Like, you know, you can say MAG. You know, it's a good abbreviation, Man Before God. But that's literally how she has to live her life. That man comes before God. You know what I'm saying? Her religion is based around what that man wants to, you know, practice. You know what I'm saying? That man's religion is her religion. Because at the end of the day, at the moments of life, when she is in danger, you know what I'm saying? It ain't gonna be God that comes save her. It ain't gonna be Jesus. It ain't gonna be any of these religious things. It's gonna be that man. That man will be the first option to saving and protecting her. That man's entire life is built around whether he can save, protect, and provide and lead her. His whole life is built on that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? His whole life is built on that. You know? It ain't gonna be no Jesus that's gonna save her before her man. You know? So the woman must spiritually, whether she believes in it or not, it's done out of the goodwill for her man and her family. And that family comes from the family she will create with that man. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be her family. You know what I mean? That's the only family she can actually claim as her true family because they have her blood. You know what I'm saying? It's like her mom could say, that's my daughter. That's my family, because you have your mother's blood and your father's blood. So you are their family. You know what I'm saying? But in reverse, you can't say that, you know what I mean, that you, damn, I'm getting lost a little. But like I was saying, you know what I'm saying? Her direct family will be the family she creates with that man. You know what I mean? And nothing comes above that. Nothing outside of the family she creates with that man and the ties that bind them in marriage. You know what I'm saying? Nothing comes above that. You know what I mean? The ties that bind them in marriage, nothing comes above that. Oh man. Yeah, I thought I saw one of those gooses piss. Wow. Never seen that in my life. A goose taking a piss. Is that even possible? But let me get back. Like I said, nothing comes above that. So spiritually, she will have to practice what that man deems what he accepts. You know what I'm saying? Religious wise or non-religious wise, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because that man has vowed to live and die for her. You know what I mean? His whole life is around living and dying for her. You know what I mean? So that's spiritual. Now physical. The woman must also understand that she must be physically not a burden to that man, you know? Now, a major thing I realized, and I'll probably touch up on this when I make another body-related video about obesity and all that stuff, you know? But I think, man, I was thinking, why are women in America far more overweight than ever before? Why? And then I realized it. You know, a lot of times the answer is right in front of you, man. The answer is right in front of you. And the reason more women will be obese no matter what they do. You know, even if they eat healthy, they're still getting fat. They're still getting that bread-looking body. Like their hands, their arms look like bread. It's because women are eating male proportions. Let me repeat that. Women are eating male proportions. When women go out to eat, back in the day, like, you know, it doesn't sound that far ago, the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, whatever you want to call it. Back in those days, the women knew that when they ate steak, their steak was smaller than the man's proportion. You know what I'm saying? Their order of steak was smaller than the man's proportion. And what you got to understand is women got to eat a different proportion than men. Their bodies are smaller. And another thing is, a woman's body is designed to hold fat and support a child and a baby. You know what I'm saying? It's designed for that. You know what I mean? Oh shit. Yeah, it's designed for that. So women shouldn't even be eating too much anyway. You know? And their body holds more fat. They're designed to hold food and gain weight to support a life. But the reason the majority of women are obese and will continue to be obese is women are eating male proportions. And to all those guys that are so-called incels and doomers and endercells, you know what I mean, that keep claiming women are second-class citizens. By golly gosh. No, we're not. Dude, all the food, every place you go to eat, the proportions are based around men. You know what I'm saying? The McDonald's meal, all food, the proportions are based around men. When you buy food, it's, unless it's like for babies and all that. And even for babies, if you think about it, the proportions for a baby's food are based around, I think, the male baby to a certain extent. The male baby. Men are by default the proportion, you know what I'm saying, for food and what's being sold and bartered. It's the proportions are built around the men. You know what I'm saying? And the major problem we have in the United States right now and countries where women are obese is the women are eating the male proportions. You go to a restaurant and order steak. You know what I'm saying? You go order steak and say, you know what, I want to order a steak for me and one for my woman. You think they're gonna give her a lesser proportion? Oh, this is a woman, you know, since she's a woman, we're gonna give her probably, where we gave the man like a whole rib, a whole pork rib, we're giving a woman probably 4 or 2 ribs. You know what I'm saying? A smaller proportion, a smaller plate. She's a woman. She's not supposed to be eating the male proportion. You know what I mean? I was talking to one of the homies on the Discord, you know, when I figured out this, you know what I mean, this idea, you know what I mean, this way of looking at things. And what I figured out was, man, think about a slice of pizza. If everything is based on the male proportion, you know what I'm saying? Everything's based on the male proportion, then that means when a woman eats a slice of pizza, and let's just assume that a woman's proportion is supposed to be half that of a man. Let's just assume it's half. Let's just assume that a woman's proportion is half that of a man. All right, let's just assume that. You know what I mean? So one slice of pizza for a woman basically equals 2. It equals 2 slices, man. One slice for her is 2. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's supposed to be. But, like I was saying, everything is proportion based around a man. That basically means when a woman drinks a coffee, you know what I'm saying, she should be drinking half that of a man. So, like, what is half of a large? My brain is, you know what I'm saying? My brain is on Squirtle Squad right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, but she should be drinking half the caffeine of a man. Maybe that's a little different, but I'm not 100% sure. But let's just say, like I said, half. So she should be drinking half the size of a coffee cup as a man. You know what I'm saying? But maybe that's different. That's a liquid. You know what I'm saying? That's slightly different. Maybe there's more wiggle room, but she shouldn't be drinking as much coffee as a damn man. You know? And now, let's keep going with this analysis. So, what does this mean? So, a slice of cake. You know what I'm saying? You get a slice of cake. Well, a woman should be eating half that slice. This is assuming that she's eating half of a grown man. The proportions of a grown man. So, this is assuming that she's eating half the proportions of a man. So she would be eating half a slice. Now, if she's about watching her weight, she would eat a quarter of that slice. A quarter. You know what I'm saying? Half of a half. Since everything is proportioned down to a man, small, large, everything is built around the proportions of a man. So that basically means that woman should be eating half, or if she's trying to watch her weight, like in the 90s, I remember if you watched A Nanny Named Fran and some other shows, and some races or groups, it was assumed they would be overweight, like an Italian woman or something. You know, the grandma, she ate too much of the proportion she cooked. And remember, everything is cooked from the proportion perspective for the men. The men will need more food and eat more food. They got to be kept well fed because they're the men, they're the stronger ones, they're the first line of defense and protection. They're the protector, the provider, and all that stuff, the house builder and this and that. So the proportions are cooked very large. You know what I'm saying? If you look at a woman that's given birth to 4 boys versus a woman that's given birth to 2 boys and 2 girls, or just 1 boy and 3 girls, you'll see that she cooks less. There's less proportions. Because women instinctively and naturally know, whoa, that's a man, he's gonna need a lot more food. That's why that narrative, the best way to a man's heart is through his stomach. You know what I'm saying? There's a level of respect there. You know what I mean? So a lot of the women in the West are eating a male's proportions. You know what I'm saying? A woman should not be ordering a large pizza. You know what I mean? If a woman's eating half of what a man should be eating, everything she eats should be based on half. This is why if you look up photos, you could do it right now, you could Google, look up the average woman from the 1940s, 1930s and 20s and so on. You'll see that those women were a lot thinner. You know what I'm saying? A lot thinner. You know what I mean? It used to be a thing they would say about a white woman. You know, she's thin, you know, not a lot of meat on her and all that stuff. You know what I mean? They were built a certain way. Because a lot of women were eating the proportions they were supposed to eat. A woman's proportions. You know what I mean? A woman's proportions. But we arrived to modern day. You know what I'm saying? Modern day could be argued to be the 70s, whenever fast food happened, whatever. And women started eating the proportions. Not all, not as heavy and quick as now, because there was a lot of shame, and because there was no-fault divorce, a lot of families, a lot of men would try to keep their daughters healthy and shaped because they looked at their daughter as a way that she would marry into a good man and position the family to be stronger, healthier, and it was an easier, accessible way into wealth was through the daughter. You know what I'm saying? Keep your daughter looking right, healthy, and you could marry her to another man. You know what I'm saying? That's in good standing. You know? That's what no-fault divorce killed. I mean, I've been telling guys a lot of times, you know, the majority of the times it was about the father. What are the qualities in a man that the father wants his daughter to be with? Whether she loved them or not, none of that mattered. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? None of that mattered, man. The love and all that BS, none of that mattered. That was written romance. Those were novels and books written to be that way. You know what I mean? None of that mattered. It was all based on the father. You know what I'm saying? Based on what the qualities in a man that a father wanted his daughter to be with, especially as a man when he's no longer in his, daughter's life, no longer the protector and the provider. He wants to make sure that the next option is as great as possible. You know what I mean? And the reason I bring this up is that a woman of today who values her man would be in shape. She would seek to be in shape. It doesn't matter if she can just put 30 minutes to walking after work or something, going to the gym a little, doing a few push-ups, and making sure she watches what she eats. You know what I mean? Because she doesn't want to be a point of lack of joy. I mean, the amount of men today that can't lift up their woman. Like if she leaps and wraps her legs around him, she might break his back, injure him. That woman is supposed to be a point of joy for that man. A point of joy. You know what I'm saying? And health. You're the mother of his child. The man is sworn to live and die for you. You know what I mean? The least you can do is be in shape. You have to prioritize your weight and your health. Because when that man goes to work and working all day, you know, whatever he's doing, he wants to make sure that his woman is healthy, the mother of his child. You know what I'm saying? The mother of his children, the apple of his eye. He makes sure she's healthy so he can not only know that his children are with a healthy woman that's setting a good example, a great example for their children, but also he's still sexually attracted to her. He can still come out of work, working hard as hell, then lift her up when he gets home, kisses up on her. You know what I'm saying? Kisses up on her, has sex with her, whatever he's gonna be doing to release his stress or just enjoy his woman, his wife, the woman he's with. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be able to do that, facing the harshness of this world. You know what I mean? He can't just come home to a healthy woman in good shape that he could just lift up and, you know, throw on the bed and do what he's, you know, enjoy one another. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have that. That's all she got to do. Stay in shape, stay healthy. You know? It's a very simple thing to do. If a woman's not staying in shape and letting her body go, and a lot of men want to fall for that BS narrative. Oh man, she's pregnant and she got fat. No, look up the 40s, look up the 30s. You'd see a belly bump. Yeah, the women they had a belly bump. They were eating and they were still skinny and had a child, and she was not an obese, buffalo-built woman. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't a BBW, buffalo-built woman. She wasn't a PBW, piglet-built woman, pig-built woman. She wasn't a HBW, hippo-built woman. Repeat that, HBW, hippo-built woman. She stayed in shape. You know what I'm saying? Your man shouldn't be working hard, then come home and he's got to struggle to lift you up and potentially break his damn back. You know what I mean? Ain't no excuse for that. You know? But this is what happens in a hyper consumeristic society where the food, you know what I'm saying, the people selling food are working with the government and all that. They knew when they removed no-fault divorce that fathers could no longer control the proportions their daughters ate. A lot of people want to believe, oh man, it's the mother that kept them in shape. No, man, it's the father. It all leads back to the father, the most influential person in the household. The man of the house has the highest level of influence, whether he's in the house or not. You know what I'm saying? The fear and respect of not letting him down, you know what I'm saying, engraved in the mother upon long before marriage. You know what I'm saying? Daughter, same thing. Oh, Pa's coming home. Your daughter ain't just gonna be sitting around. No, she's gonna be cooking something, doing something to ease father's life. You know what I mean? The children will be doing the same. They're preparing, they're cooking, they're doing something. So when dad comes home, he's more relaxed. It's not a burden. You know what I mean? This is what it means to be in shape and all that. A lot of people keep pushing this BS narrative, although the mother controlled it. No, it was the father. The very impact and influence of the father amongst the household was literally, you know what I mean, affects everything. How the woman lives. Even when the men would work the mines. Like, I've done multiple streams where I've talked about this. You know what I mean? I did a whole stream And I'm gonna re-upload it because it got deleted from my main YouTube. I had to upload it on my other one, Philosophy. But I'll re-upload it where I told men that, yo, boys had it better to becoming a man in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and anything behind that, because even without a father, they were raised to become men. You know what I'm saying? Because the influence of a man was that strong. The very society was all about strength and manhood. You know what I'm saying? So with or without a father, he would not be raised to be sensitive, and the shame of being a bastard and the challenge of that to live up to, yo, even without a father, I could still be a man. It wasn't about being a victim. It was about, no, man, I'm more than a bastard. I'm a man. You know what I mean? That's what it was about. You know, but, you know, in a fatherless generation where society's built, you know, around feminizing. And like I was saying with the food, is that all the corporations got together and started advertising. I mean, think about it. Look up cheeseburger ads and all that. They would advertise the woman eating the same proportions as the man. Same damn proportions as the man. You know what I'm saying? Promoting that obesity. Promoting that gluttony. A woman's gluttony is to try to eat like a man. You know what I'm saying? It's so self-destructive. You know, but like I said, physically the woman would seek to be in shape and not a burden to her man. This is the man that comes home, risks his life, lives and vowed till death do us part, placed himself in a position where he's in danger legally. If she were to ever just up and lose her mind or get too emotional, she could destroy that man's whole life in this marriage, you know? So that's the physical, that's the spiritual and religious. You know what I mean? And when it comes to the respect, the woman would understand that she does not challenge the man, you know? She doesn't challenge his perspective on this world because he's looking at it through a lens she could never look at, and that lens is that of a man. The lens that of fighting, the lens of the potential threats of this world that he most likely might have to overcome. So when he comes home, you know what I'm saying, there wouldn't be no arguments and major debating and all this stuff. It would all be about the basics. You know, we're alive, we're living, we're eating, we're healthy, and that's it. Notice I didn't mention no happiness and all that BS, because happiness is not based around the truth. It's based on a commercial aspect of what they mean to be happiness. Oh, it's to have this big car, this and that. No, man. Life isn't about happiness. Life is about stability. You know what I'm saying? Happiness is a luxury. You know, a lot of people don't even know or consider that. Happiness is a luxury. It's not a necessity. You know what I mean? If I wake up at home, I got food, I'm good. You know what I mean? Do I need to wake up with yeah, I'm so happy. You know what I mean? Happiness is a luxury, man. It's a luxury, man. You know? And the woman that's with a man would also understand that in him being priority, she would not question certain things. The only thing a woman would question is if it has to do with health, STDs, and, you know, the diseases we have. We got to be honest. This ain't the 1940s and 30s where they didn't have AIDS. They didn't have AIDS back then. You know what I'm saying? This is the now. So another thing a woman has to understand, you know, even if that man is potentially, let's say he brings, this is where it gets a little so-called controversial. You know what I mean? But in fact, no, I don't need to bring that. I was about to talk about talking about mistresses and all that. But basically what I was gonna say is, if that man, for example, You know what I mean? This is why bastards were born a lot back then. You know, the woman understood back then that you're too old now. You know what I'm saying? The man values you and doesn't want to risk your life at 35, 40. He doesn't want to put another child in you. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't want to put another child and risk your life and risk that child's health. So men would have bastards, you know, children out of wedlock, a second family, and so on. Because that's what that man needs to do. That's what he wants to bring more life into this world. And another thing a woman would understand back then is that means she has more people she could count on. You know what I mean? The more a man spreads his seed, you know, within reasoning of what he can protect and provide for, she has more people to protect her. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's got other kids. You know, he still loves her and still with her, but you know, he found a chick that's younger to give him more sons and more kids. Now she has more people to protect her, and she can lean on another family, another maybe a stepson, whatever you want to call it. More children, more family to protect. More people she could lean on, ask for help if she's in danger. You know what I'm saying? More. And a woman would understand that because, like I said when this video started, there's a difference. She's a woman. You know what I'm saying? She can only give birth, let's say, about a healthy child, 18 to about, let's say, 18 to about 20, 28. You know what I'm saying? Let's say 18 to about 28. And if that man still wants to have children, and he informs her and she knows he's not going to try to bring disease and he's responsible, he's going to support it. And even if she doesn't support it, she understands. He's a man, he's 40 years old and he wants more children. You know what I'm saying? He wants more children. And she can't provide him more children. But guess what? At 40 years old, he's still putting his life, he's still vowed, he's still living to protect, provide, and risk his whole life for her. You know what I mean? He's still doing that. You know? He's still doing that. You know, so what changed? What changed is her. She got older, man. That man still cares for her. You know what I mean? That man still wants to take care of her. It's just that, she can't bear him any more children. It's too risky. It's too high risk. It's too dangerous. So that man doesn't attempt to have children with her. You know what I mean? He moves on. He doesn't attempt to have children with her and has children with another woman. And the other thing about another woman, the other woman respects that man. She will help that man take care of her if she gets sick. You know what I'm saying? That's why men used to have, that's my wife and that's my mistress. You know what I'm saying? That's another extension of that man's will. You know what I'm saying? That man's will. That's another extension of that man's will. Now, so long as, like I said, so long as he's responsible, he can protect and provide for the whole family. You know what I'm saying? The mistress and all that stuff, so be it. You know what I mean? This is what it means for you to see a successful relationship. And when it comes to the children, that man being the cornerstone of protecting her and providing for her, if that man wants to send his son to military school, if that man doesn't want his son to do this, doesn't want him to do that, whatever, so be it. You know what I mean? So be it. She would understand that that man is above and comes before anything in her life. Because to marry that man is to basically mean anything outside of that marriage. To value anything higher outside of that marriage is divorce. Anything, any disrespect and all that is divorce. You know? So, you know what I mean? And this is why food will be cooked in priority, taking care of that man, being there for that man, because she understands, you know what I'm saying, that man is priority and her one and only true person she could count on. Everything outside of that man is a stranger, you know what I'm saying, is a stranger and does not bring anything she can trust in her life. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't bring anything she could trust in her life. Everything outside of that man is a stranger. You know what I mean? It's a stranger. You know? Politicians. I mean, look at the society you're in, man. Trusting politicians and this and that. You know what I mean? Trusting all these political figures that are completely strangers. They're strangers. Influencers, all these people that she's never met, she doesn't know, she just knows them from watching something, watching a video. You don't know these people. They're to be viewed as entertainment above all. Entertainment, and to be understood that they are strangers. You know what I mean? And this is what a successful marriage looks like. Now the question you gotta ask yourself is, are you in that? Does that sound like anything you've experienced or you've seen? You know what I mean? That's what you gotta ask yourself. Does that sound like anything you're in or you've experienced? I said, when it comes to the kids in the household, everything is built around that father. Because that man, the way he's designing the life and how they're living, how he's planning, it's all about him being able to protect, provide, shelter, lead. You know what I mean? Lead. You know, protect, provide, shelter, and lead, man. That's what that man is doing. You know what I mean? That's what that household is supposed to reflect. That man's ideal and his perspectives. The easier it is on that man, the easier it is for that family. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, even if a man, and you see this in a society where they're telling you, oh, man has to be there to hug and hold his kids and kiss them every day, blah, blah, blah. That's BS, man. That's just a societal one-size-fits-all propaganda that they get to create the narrative of how a man should treat his children, how loving he is, how caring. If a father doesn't hug his son and kiss him on the head every day, he's a bad father. No. Each man has their own approach, you know what I'm saying, to fatherhood. You know what I mean? One father might be, yo, the kids see me, I come home, you know what I'm saying, I tap them on the head, I basically validate their existence. You exist. You know what I'm saying? You exist, kids. You exist in my eyes. You know what I mean? That might be what the father considers, you know what I mean, doing that. That's what he does to his kids. His goal is, yo, y'all don't got to worry about eating, food, shelter, safety, protection. Y'all good. That's it. You know what I mean? Y'all being taught, y'all going to school. That's it. That's all that matters. You know what I mean? Tap him on the head. Hello, son, how you doing? And he moves on. You know what I mean? Some men, that's their ideal of what it means to be a father. You know what I mean? And what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? What's wrong with that? Oh, he's not having his son sit on his lap and telling him, oh, you're such a great son, I love you, and kissing him on the forehead. That's the mom. The mom could be more emotional, hugging and caring, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And even then, the mom in the household of the father will somewhat step away from that as the kids age. She'll mother them differently. you know, because she doesn't want them to be too much of a mother's boy or too soft, and doesn't want to disrespect the father. You know what I'm saying? Above all, doesn't want to disrespect the father and what he considers to be the example he wants his children to live by. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest aspect, you know? So you got to look at this propaganda, this one size fits all, how fathers should be and all that BS. And who's telling you that? A bunch of strangers. Well, I was watching this influencer. I was watching this talk show. I was watching these group of psychologists that sit down and say, this is the script that your children should live by. They don't know your culture. They don't know where you come from and this and that. There's no such thing as a one size fits all. That's all propaganda. That's all BS. You know what I mean? All BS. You know, I said, there might be a father, man. These are my kids. I had them. I wanted to have kids. I come home. I acknowledge they exist. I look them in the eye. And then I go eat. And then I go meet out with the boys and drink. And after drinking, I come back home. They look at me. I might pat them on the head. And I go to sleep. And I do it again. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem? What's the problem? You know what I mean? What's the problem there? Those kids have a father in their life. You know what I mean? They're not worried about food and eating and all that. What's the problem? Well, they're not being emotionally loved and supported and blah, 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 weakened. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem? You know? What's the problem? You know what I'm saying? So let me see. I touched up on spirituality. I touched up on religion. And like I said, let me just leave this last. The way the woman will dress, man. The way the woman will dress will cater towards the man she's with. You know what I'm saying? And for the black men, man. For the black men, your woman ain't gonna be wearing no weaves, man. I'm gonna make another video. That's directed towards the black men. Because, you know, I gotta make a whole other video for that. You know, but the black men, man, come on. Your woman you with ain't gonna be wearing the genetics of another man. You know what I'm saying? Straight hair, weaves, eyelashes. Your woman ain't gonna be naked going outside advertising her body towards other men. You know what I'm saying? A woman doing that is in the position of power. And her man is submissive. She should be wearing what you deem respectable. Now, if you're one of those guys just gloating, oh, look at my girl's body. I don't know. Something might be psychologically something wrong with you. I don't know. You know what I mean? But, you know, like I said, man, there's a lot of that's going to happen, but, you know, there's a lot, man. Like I said, that dressing, everything, even the way she shops, spend money, everything will be built around the man's ideals and the man's purpose and how he looks at life. You know what I mean? The way she spends her money, everything will revolve around that man. That man is the sun. That man is the moon. That man is the entire universe. You know what I'm saying? I saw a woman, you know what I mean, at a job. Very traditional woman, elderly. I think her husband died. He did everything. You know what I'm saying? He did everything. He was the lead in her life. You know what I'm saying? I saw the old lady crying. A Spanish lady, you know what I'm saying? Spanish tradition. She was in tears. Because, you know, she lived her life built around that man. And look at her age. She's got to be around 70 something. And that man left money. He left whatever he had. You know what I'm saying? He lived his vow. You know what I'm saying? He lived this vow. He died. Till death do us part. That man did it. Mission success. You know what I'm saying? He died before her. There will be pain. There will be pain. She will miss her husband. But guess what? He committed to his vow. You know what I'm saying? He only parted with her in death. You know what I mean? He only parted with her in death, man. In death. That's when he parted. He died. It wasn't no divorce and all that other BS. It's a mission success. He succeeded. They only parted in death. You know what I'm saying? He died. Left her what he left her. She's got some good kids. You know what I'm saying? Good family around her. And he died. Mission success. Till death do us part. That man succeeded. That man had a successful marriage. He died. He parted with her in death. You know what I mean? That is a successful marriage to a man. You know what I'm saying? Death. Death is the mark of success for a man in marriage. It is death. Till death do us part. That man succeeded. You know what I mean? That man succeeded. You know what I mean? He parted with her in death. That was success. He met his vows. You know what I mean? That is the truth of the matter. You know, man, and you know, I think that this is the video, man. This represents the marriage. You know what I'm saying? And if you're a married man watching this video, then, well, you gotta basically compare and contrast if you're in this situation. Because if you're not in this situation, then, in my honest opinion, you're not in a successful marriage. You know what I mean? That's the truth of it. You're not in a successful marriage. You know? If all the stuff I brought up, you know what I mean? If what I brought up, you know what I mean? If what I brought up, man, you don't have it, in my opinion, and based on the truth of the matter and the law, you know, based on the law and everything presented, then you're not in a successful marriage. At the end of the day, it's your marriage. You choose what, like I said, volunteers, you choose what you volunteer. And volunteers can't be victims, so you made your decision. You know what I mean? I'm a man, you know what I'm saying? You're a man. You can ignore the logic I've put in. Every man will live their life. They will make their choice. You know, they will volunteer for what they deem their life, you know. But what you can't do, and what I don't tolerate, you can't come to me and say, well, you know, you hold the truth hostage. She robbed me. She took my money, and I lost everything in the divorce. I lost everything in the divorce. I lost this, I lost that, I lost this, I lost that. I don't want to hear that, man. You know, volunteers can't be victims, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to make a shirt out of that. Volunteers can't be victims, man. You know what I mean? Gotta do that. Just don't come around me not being accountable for your choices, man. That's what separates my channel from so many other men. I will hold you accountable. You know what I'm saying? I will hold you accountable, and I will deal with you from a point of accountability. If you want to run away from your accountabilities, man, then we don't need to talk, man. I'm not here to baby other men and let you cry on my shoulders. You know, oh, hold the truth hostage. She broke my heart. She took my heart and smothered it in alcohol and lit it on fire. She smothered my heart with alcohol and lit it on fire, mate. You know what I mean? All the truth hostage. I was married to a woman by the name of Jasmina, and she broke my heart. She broke everything. She broke my heart. Hold the truth hostage. I loved her. I gave her everything. I gave her all the curry. I gave her all the curry that I ever had, and she took the curry, threw the curry out the window, and she never loved me. She took my curry and threw it out the window. Hey, all the truth hostage, man. She took my heart. They say she took it and she threw it away, man. And she never really loved me, man. She just wanted to use me, man. She wanted to use me, man. She wanted to use me and take everything that I had. She pretended that she loved me, man. She pretended that she was me amor, and she just, all the truth hostage, man. She pretended to care for me, say. She pretended to care, and she just, one day I came home, man. I came home and she just took everything, man. She took everything, threw everything I had, hey, man. She took everything I had and just threw it out a window, man. The window, she threw it all out the window, and next thing I know, man, I was alone in my carro, and listening to Enrique Iglesias, man, because I needed a hero, man. I needed a hero to come save me, man. She took everything from me. I said, "Ora vato." Well, hold the chief hostage. She took everything, man. I loved her. I used to serenade her with songs and poetry. I loved her, man. I loved her. I used to fight other Highlanders on the Highlands for her, lad. I gave her everything that I had. My haggis, my sheep, man. I gave her everything. And she just took it all and tossed me away. She took everything and tossed me away, lad. She took everything. She even took me Lucky Charms. You know what I mean? I think I got one more. Yeah, man. Me gave all me art. Me loved her, man. Me used to sing Baba Marley music to her art. Used to give her everything. And then me one day done woke up. And me woke up to find her with another man in me bed, man. Smoking up me ganja, man. She does rolled up the ganja and smoke it all, man. And left me with a nothing to me name. Nothing at all but me Bob Marley CDs that me had around the house, man. That's all she left me with, all the truth hostage, man. He took everything else, me boy. Come on, man. This ain't, I'm not running a channel for that, man. I'm not doing that. You know what I'm saying? You will be held accountable, man. Volunteers can't be victims. Let me say it again. Volunteers can't be victims. Again, volunteers can't be victims. Well, now I've done it. You know what I'm saying? This video is over 5 years in the making. Now you know what, in my from my perspective and looking at things from a, full-time ghosting, very mathematical perspective, Black Pill 4.0 perspective. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're looking at. At the end of the day, like I said, we're all men. You will make your decisions. You know what I'm saying? You will make your decisions. You will live and die by your decisions. You know what I'm saying? That ain't for me to make. I'm not here. I'm not a decision maker for other men. That's your life. You will live your life based on your own ideals and your own goals and so on. But this has been hold the truth hostage, where if the truth was so important, we wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. Full-time ghosting isn't an option. It's the only choice. Full-time ghost.